Hey, we're back.
What's up, Twitch? It's time for round number 5, the last round of Swiss. So we have 6 4-0 players.
Correct.
All of them drew.
Yeah, 401.
That will be good for a top 8. There are 3 matches, so 6 more players that are 3-1.
Correct.
They're all winning in, and they're going to have to sweat the tiebreakers.
That's wild.
So, yeah, another 6 players potentially in the top 8. This is one of those matches.
Yeah, dropping a single match.
This is a win, and maybe you can get in.
Oh my god!
It's not even guaranteed.
You can 4-1 and still not guarantee because there's potentially gonna be 6 players with a 4-1 record at the end of this.
Potentially,
I think
yes.
that's the maximum.
So no, there should be just 3.
Just 3 that are 4-1.
Yep. So 2 of them will get in, 1 of them will not. At the top of your screen for this round is Dillon. We have seen Dillon on camera quite a bit in 2023.
He's been on a lot of
No stranger to the feature match, playing against Damon on Hammer Time.
Yeah, this is the traditional deck that he was on last time. We're good, Blake. Sorry, had some technical difficulties there.
The camera wasn't wanting to focus.
And Dillon sort of off to an interesting start here with the Springleaf drum.
Yeah, Dillon playing Scales. So we saw the Scales deck at the team event.
Yes.
A. Adams was playing it.
Yeah, correct.
And they're playing the they have this red splash now, and there's so many cards. My particular favorite is Patchwork Automaton.
Ooh, card's so good. There it is.
Hey.
And he's using it to cast a card. There
Hardened
is
Scales.
the Hardened Scales.
Perfect. So now every artifact that he plays is going to put 2 +1/+1 counters on my little
and
boy.
has Ward 2.
However, I will say that Damon started off with the best turn 1 play
Yeah.
as Sigarda's Aid from the Hammer Time deck. This is mono white hammer.
Yeah.
We don't have a blue splash in Damon's deck. I believe at the last Modern event, I don't know if Damon made top 8. It was close though,
It was
right?
close, yeah.
Yeah.
He was on feature.
Yeah. So here is a Giver of Runes.
Stepmom.
And
His own Springleaf drum.
Springleaf drum.
Original Lorwyn printing.
2 very interesting sort of like artifact aggro decks.
Yeah.
You know, for the longest time before Mox Opal was banned, there was really only one artifact aggro deck.
Yeah.
And
blue one.
now the remnants of that deck have kind of splintered off into several different archetypes, and it's pretty cool.
Which are all good. And they're both weirdly like mono-colored in heavy air quotes.
Sure, yeah.
Like, here's Zabaz.
Here's a Zabaz. That's going to put 2 counters. 3 counters, right?
2 counters and 2 on itself, too.
Interesting. And a Haywire
Oh,
Might.
my God.
So Dillon really set up here to interact with all of the pieces that Damon
He can
play.
he can Haywire Might his opponent's Urza Saga here.
Yes.
He could have done that.
Or wait for the hammer.
Because he can use the Haywire Might to make its own mana with the Springleaf drum to sack itself to exile something.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Forgenew.
potentially targets here. So when the Inkmoth Nexus gets animated, it's also an artifact. The Colossus Hammer, it's an artifact. Here's a Forgenew. That's an enchantment. The Haywire Might, really, really good in this matchup.
Yeah, it's a main. It used to be sideboard tech. Now it is a main board, hard M main board, capital M main board. There is no reason to not include this in your deck. And Scales is on Saga too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's using it to make its own mana and exile his opponents and exile Damon's Urza Saga now. But he had the counter for it. He had the protection spell.
Yeah, he has the Giver of Runes.
No, he had the
Surge of Salvation.
Surge of Salvation. Yeah, the Giver only can give it protection to it.
So he tapped the Giver to activate the Springleaf drum.
Yep.
Gotcha. Here's a second copy of Patchwork Automaton. That thing is getting very, very big.
It is a 7/7 now. And I think Damon has 3 cards in hand? They both sort of had explosive starts here. This is wild. Damon in sort of a interesting spot because he just needs the hammer. And the Saga's going to get the hammer for him. He needed to protect that Saga.
Yep.
I didn't even consider that, but that is the line here.
Yeah, you get the hammer and then put it on the Inkmoth Nexus, and that's how you win.
Yeah, and then give the Inkmoth Nexus protection from whatever, because you can give it protection from colorless even. So Zabaz can't even block it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Giver of Runes, unlike Mother of Runes in that it can give it protection from colorless stuff too. Coming in clutch here.
So this is Forge Anew. This is a new...
Yeah, it's from the Lord of the Rings set. It's a 3-mana enchantment, and when it comes into play, you can return an equipment from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yes. And it also has a static ability that lets you equip things for free if it's the first equipment. Free
if it's the first thing that you've equipped. Yes, that's true.
Spoilers, generally you only need to equip things once. Mm-hmm. Yeah. it's a very
kind of just functioning as additional copies of Sigarda's Aid.
Yep. And it lets you equip at instant speed.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. As long as it's your turn, you can activate equip abilities anytime you can cast an instant.
Amazing.
So, so there's the hammer.
I believe Damon floated a mana with his Urza Saga and then went and got the hammer.
So he can animate the...
looks like he's just going to put it on the Giver of Runes here.
Oh, I just realized something. If he gives his creature protection from colorless, the hammer will fall off.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that. Mm-hmm. This is interesting. I don't know exactly why we equipped. So we're going to give Zabaz flying.
Yeah, looks like is just going to do this now.
So if he gives it protection from color...
Zabaz is going to die, and then the modular will...
It'll put 3...
Oh, because it deals damage in the form of -1/-1 counters.
It still deals damage. Yeah, it's... Oh, yeah, but there's no counters on it.
There's no counters on it for it to modulate.
It's going to die due to state-based actions with 0 +1/+1 counters on it.
Interesting.
And so we're not going to be able to put any counters on anything. Yeah, this is a really cool play by Damon. Mm-hmm. He sort of understood the assignment.
The players just checking with the judge here to make sure that everything is good.
Should not.
While they do that, if you haven't done so already, please follow the channel.
Oh, yeah.
We are also on YouTube. You can head on over there. It's Old Cranky Man Collectibles on YouTube. We've got a backlog of all of our tournaments with plenty more coming in 2024.
Yeah, we're ramping up for next year.
Yeah, go subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us here. Every little bit helps us out.
All right. Checking with Dakota there. You can see him on screen.
Yeah, so I know we saw this Scales deck at the team event in November on camera several times over the course of the day. Haven't had Hammer on camera in a while, which is kind of unfortunate because I believe in the Modern tournament in November, or maybe it was October, we did have a Hammer player in the top 8. They weren't the feature match, though, for the quarterfinals, and so they didn't get on camera. So Zabaz is going to die
before damage. He's sacking it.
Yes.
Okay.
Very heads up play.
Yeah.
I believe maybe he used its ability to destroy itself.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Because you can sacrifice one of your own.
That is pretty cool.
Artifacts.
So Judge is still at the table there. I'm going to hop out and make sure that everything is hunky dory.
Yeah, I'm looking up Zabaz here. The Glimmer Wasp. Not exactly the kind of wasp I would want to run into. I mean, probably fabulous. So Zabaz 1 mana 0/0 modular 1, and then for a red, destroy target artifact you control. So he's using the wasp to destroy itself after blocks before damage.
Right. So he gets to move the counters over to the Patchwork Automaton. Everything is sorted out here. Your players are getting going again. It looks like Giver of Runes is going to get tapped for a mana to play Pure Steel Paladin. That is going to immediately pick up the Colossus Hammer.
Oh my god.
And I think we'll be headed back over to Dillon.
Yeah, Pure Steel Paladin now just a big blocker. There's he needs some sort of removal spell.
Did you see the new secret layer, the Evil Dead one?
Yeah, and Pure Steel is
the guy
Ash.
Ash.
Yeah. I sort of love that.
All right.
It is Evil Dead Ash. It's not Army of Darkness Ash. Right. So you know that because he has both hands.
Dillon is going to scoop this one up. So I believe Damon got game number 1 there. He just had too many things for his opponent to be able to interact
Having
with.
the instant speed movement there meant that no matter what Dillon did, he was dead.
Yeah, Forge Anew.
Yeah.
Hey. All right. These players are going to get sideboarded, and we will be right back with game number 2.
Love you.
Up with.
Hey,
Hey,
We're back.
it's time for game number 2.
We love
If you're
you.
just joining us, this is the Old Cranky Man Collectibles Championship.
And we love you.
Finals.
And we love you.
Last round of the Swiss here.
Yep. Round 5.
3 players drew into the top 8.
4 players.
Sorry.
4 players drew in the top.
No, 3. Sorry, tables 1 through 3. So 6 players.
I thought it was just 1 and 2. Was it 1 through 3?
Tables 1 through 3.
Oh my god.
6 players, all 4-0, drew into the top 8.
Holy cow.
Then there are 6 players that are 3-1.
1. And they could, depending on breakers.
Yeah, so there's 2 spots left for the top 8. 2 of these 6 players will get in. This isn't a winning in, it's a potentially winning in.
So you could 4-1 and not make it in.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah, depending on your breaker. So with just 32 players and 8 of them having 2 buys to start the tournament off,
This is wild.
it really makes that last round a sweat.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the idea.
Yeah, I mean, it has been excellent watching. We can see Luke there in the background behind Dillon. Just his back. That's all you need to see.
Oh my God! I thought you were going to say something nice about the guy.
Yeah,
Luke, the only player to qualify
Yes.
for both of the OCM championships. So he's
Yeah.
qualified for this one. Came in 4th place, I think he said.
Yeah.
In points. So 2 buys. And then
Correct.
he's also qualified for the Lawnlander Championship,
Yeah.
which is tomorrow at 1 p.m. That's our Canadian Highlander circuit.
Yeah, he won that. He won the last tournament straight up.
He did. He got
Yeah.
his invite.
Yeah, and
The only player in the entire community
Yeah.
to qualify for both championship tournaments.
Luke and I do have a bit of a rivalry in that I really want to beat him and I can't.
Players still mulliganing here. It looks like maybe Damon is going to keep this one.
What did Damon do? Or no, what did Dillon do?
Dillon, I
Yeah,
watched Dillon's sideboard. So Dillon changed quite a bit, actually. He has a
Sure.
lot of stuff in his sideboard that destroys artifacts.
Oh, sure.
So he's got 1 copy of Force of Vigor, 2 copies of Nature Claim, and then also 2 copies of Dismember.
Which member?
In addition to that, also brought in 2 Pithy Needles and 2 Fulminator Mages. So that's 9 cards.
Fulminator Mage is a weird one, but I like it.
Yeah.
Starting off with a...
Dillon with the best possible start for this deck, a Hardened Scales.
And are we going to have the Cigar's Aid?
Best
starts
both,
with
both
decks.
Both decks best start. So Dillon took out a Gemstone Caverns, a Soul Cauldron, 2 copies of Bioshift, 2 copies of Patchwork Automaton, 2 copies of Hangerback Walker. So I think maybe Dillon anticipating his opponent's sideboarding a little bit. The Hammer Times sideboard is pretty similar.
Yeah.
Got lots of copies of Pithing Needle.
Sure.
So getting these cards with these activated abilities out of your deck,
Oh, yeah.
I think is pretty heads up.
Yeah, this is one of the you can name lands with Pithing Needle, and
You can, and it will turn off their non-mana activated abilities.
like making Urza Saga tokens.
Like making Urza Saga.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Damon made 7-card change,
Okay.
7-card delta, brought out 2 Giver of Runes, a Ginger Brute, and then all 4 copies of Esper Sentinel.
Okay.
Bringing in 4 copies of Solitude and 3 Cursed Totems.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cursed Totem would be super brutal in this
Yeah, it's
matchup.
backbreaking.
Dillon here with a crazy 3rd turn of the game. A second copy of Hardened Scales into an Arcbound Ravager.
Now that card banned in its standard
Arcbound
format.
Ravager, it was terrible.
It was banned in standard and in constructed block
Yeah.
for original Mirrodin, and along with like the artifact lands. That card is a messed up.
The artifact lands are crazy. So a couple of Urza Sagas trigger on the stack here. This one is going to go up to Chapter 3. Looks like Dillon will float a mana. Going to go find a 1-drop out of the deck. Stefan, what do you think it's going to be?
It's gonna be Might. It'll be Haywire Might, 100%. We're not getting anything else but Haywire Mights. It is all Mights all day. You could, or you might.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an easy, like, it's such an easy answer to basically anything that your opponent tries to do.
Well,
you try to animate the Inkmoth Nexus, kill it. You try to play an artifact or an enchantment, you kill it. And it exiles too.
So also let's talk about what Damon's board is. I mean, he's got this Inkmoth Nexus. The Haywire Might is really good at killing that. So
It's good at killing a lot of stuff. Well,
it's true. Like half of Damon's deck.
oh wait, no, it doesn't kill the Inkmoth Nexus. It can't target a creature. It has to be a non-creature artifact. artifact or enchantment.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, it's still a great answer to the hammer, which I think is fine.
Sure.
If your opponent's attacking with a 1/1.
Yeah, taking one poison is much better than
better.
the game being over on the spot. That's true.
Also, it's sort of a weird situation if your opponent is trying to kill you with Infect. It gives you a ton of life to play with.
Yeah.
Your life total suddenly doesn't
matter. I heard a story, it was a tweet actually, about someone using a Tainted Strike as a fog.
Yeah.
So they had
it's so good.
They had lethal damage from it, and they used a Tainted Strike to give the creature Infect. So they took poison counters instead of
that's amazing.
instead of taking regular damage, and then untapped and won the game.
You know what that reminds me of is people casting lifelink on their opponent's creatures.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing where you're giving the opponent's creature a
feel
trigger.
free to attack me. I'll gain that life back. So way back in Old Modern,
beside you.
When Grixis Delver was a thing, back when I used to play on the PTQ circuit.
Sure.
Grixis Delver was a thing, pretty early Modern.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do against Burn was to put a Vampiric Link on an Eidolon of the Great Revel.
Ooh. So every time they took damage, you gained that life?
Every time the Eidolon of the Great Revel dealt damage, I gained that much life.
That's so good.
So Urza Saga is going to make a construct, and then it looks like Ravager is going to get in the red zone.
Yeah, Dillon's sort of in a commanding space now. We've got a third Urza Saga in play. You know, it's notably and mercifully the token doesn't get counters on it, and here's a hammer about to eat a.
Hey, why am I activation?
Well, that's the thing is, like, he doesn't have enough mana to equip it anyway. Like, he's nowhere near close, and he doesn't have anything in hand that could equip it, or he would have done it. Like, there's no creatures. He boarded out a ton of creatures.
Do they play that 1 mana white instant that lets you equip something?
I don't think so. I think that was original tech, but since Forge Anew...
Forge Anew replaced it?
Yeah,
okay, I was kind of thinking the same thing. What is that card called?
Oh my god.
It just lets you equip something. Yeah. It's a one white. Chat, what's that card called? Hello? Who's out here?
We're calling on you. No. Oh. I'm trying to remember what it was called.
How many rounds of Swiss? There are 6. 6 rounds of Swiss.
Oh, we're doing 6? I thought we were 5.
No, it's 6 rounds. Yeah, 32 players. It's 6 rounds.
So these players have another shot at this.
If 402 is good enough to get in, then the other players would need 13 points.
Mm-hmm.
So 13 points would be 4 wins and a draw.
Mm-hmm.
So if they lose here, they can still win the next round and potentially get in.
A 5-1 can get in.
Yes.
Yeah, that should get him in.
Yeah.
If you're X1.
Yeah, I think it'll still be a sweat though. There's I believe still will be 2
players that get muscled out by breakers.
Yeah, interesting.
That's wild.
Tournament math is hard.
I can't do it.
Did you figure out what that card was called?
I cannot find it.
Dillon pushing the advantage here, attacks with everything.
Core Outfitter? It wasn't a creature. It's an instant.
No, it's an instant.
Somebody said Core Outfitter in the... All right, Scryfall, do your thing.
Just like attach target equipment, or attach an equipment you control to target creature or something like that.
It's an instant. It is 1 white mana.
Damon brought in Solitude, right? You said
4 copies of it. Yeah,
he brought in 4 copies of Solitude. Holy cow! Here's 2 mana. From
Resolute
Damon.
Strike.
Looks like it's going to be a Colossus Hammer.
So there's Resolute Strike that gives a creature +2/+2, and if it's a warrior, you may attach an equipment you control to it.
I was thinking there was another card.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Anyways, there's a Pure Steel Paladin in play now, but it looks like Damon is just going to scoop these up.
Yeah, it was too far gone.
We get a game 3. Have we had a game 3 every round today?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, the player's sideboard, let's take a look at the 2023 Championship Belt. was. You saw it. That's the 2023 championship belt. One player is going to walk away with that today, and their share of $3,000.
Damn.
Looks like nobody made a sideboard change, so
yeah, I think
take
they
a look at
voted
some
correctly.
mulligans here. Didn't Damon mulligan to 5 that game?
Yeah, it was a rough one for him. And I think Dillon was correct to capitalize on that. Like, if your opponent mulligans,
push it.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
And he really committed heavy to the board.
He did.
He went fast. He had 3 Urza Sagas in a row.
Yeah.
And, like, you just start muscling.
Turns out when you draw the best cards in your deck.
Urza Saga, best card in the deck?
Like, in a vacuum, yes.
Yeah, which is weird.
In a vacuum, I think Urza Saga is the best card in the deck. Arcbound Ravager, super nuts also. And I gotta
Hardened Scales.
I gotta give points to my boy Patchwork Automaton.
Yeah, card's
now,
so good.
like, in the context of the deck itself, I think the best card in the deck is Hardened Scales.
Yeah, turn 1 Hardened Scales, hard to beat. I think starting out with the Springleaf Drum definitely accelerates you to a degree, but it's kind of slower than what you want to be. It feels more like what you want to fetch with an Urza Saga if you just need that mana acceleration.
Right. Yeah. Well, it gives you some options to just you can make the
and we're mulliganing.
You can make the construct token and still have a mana for your turn.
Yes.
Which is nice.
And you can use the construct to create
right, which is what I'm saying is it basically just lets you. It's kind of just like a free construct.
Everything's free, yeah.
Free construct on that third mode. So
yeah, I love that.
Sometimes you don't have anything to do with your mana. Like I have been a serial, like I'm gonna make the construct every turn, and like over the last month or so, I've really been like exploring. Well, what if I just float a mana and then use that mana? You know,
it's okay.
I always want to squeeze every bit of value out of those cards.
Yeah.
But like sometimes just having that mana is real good. Looks like players have kept here. Damon's going to start us off with a hammer.
That's the name of the deck.
That's the name of the deck.
Hammer time. Mr. MC Hammer would be proud of this deck existing. How baggy do you think his pants are these days? Because back in the day, incredibly baggy. I don't know what the evolution of MC Hammer's pants looks like. But honestly, if you could show me like a timeline of how his pants have evolved since the 90s, I'd be very interested in that. MC Hammer also did a song on the soundtrack of the Addams Family movie. How weird is that?
Did he really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Absolutely.
There's
do what
my
they
boy.
want to do,
It's
say what they want to say,
Automaton.
live how they want to do, play how they want to play.
Here's a pithing needle.
Are we naming?
Let's find out what we're naming.
Yeah. We have the Pure Steel Paladin in play.
The needle named Colossus.
Yeah. It prevents it from being equipped with the Pure Steel Paladin there. Blake getting a little upset with me because I refuse to stop singing MC Hammer. This is something he's going to have to deal with.
Back on Dillon's turn.
No activating abilities.
So Saga's gonna get a counter. He's got a Grove of the Burn Willows to play.
So we see a Pithing Needle on one side and a Cursed Totem on the other side.
Yeah, brutal.
Anything.
Remind me the exact Oracle text on Cursed Totem.
Activated abilities of creatures can't be activated.
Brutal.
Yeah. Which, to be clear, when you go to activate the Inkmoth Nexus, it is not a creature.
That's true. You wouldn't be able to activate the Zabaz or the Arcbound Ravager.
Correct.
You can't activate Giver of Runes.
Yeah. Which is why he boarded them out.
Smart.
Yeah. What's interesting is like a lot of times people will look at these cards and think, contextually, this is going to hurt your deck as much as your opponent's. But
no, that's not what I was trying to say. It was just another activated ability that popped into my head.
Yeah.
The only one I think that's in Damon's deck.
Yeah, that's
activated
correct.
ability on a creature is the Giver of Runes. Yeah. But like you said, boarded him out. So
yeah. And on top of that, if it's something that's doing work for you, don't play it. Like, don't play it's okay to sandbag a card that would hurt your board state. As long as it is actively, The issue here is that Dillon has already set in motion some pretty rancid
Looks
stuff.
like Dillon is going to make a construct token with his Urza Saga trigger on the stack. What's he going to fetch up?
Probably a Haywire Might, potentially a Shadow Spear. I really like Shadow Spear in this. It's a Haywire Might.
This is just a little bit of extra insurance, I think. And he's got the Springleaf Drum.
Correct.
So he is going to be able to activate this. So Patchwork Automaton, not currently summoned sick.
Can I tell you why I wouldn't have gotten it, though?
Because the Cursed Scroll
The Cursed Totem doesn't let it activate its ability.
Interesting.
Unless he has an ability to interact with that without the Haywire Might, there's no reason to get the Haywire Might.
So it looks like Walking Ballista and Patchwork Automaton are going to get in the red zone. Oh, he can't activate Walking Ballista.
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm in on Cursed Totem.
Yeah, and we got lethal on board. That was enough.
That looks like it's going to do it. So,
you know what? The Haywire Might does have power, though.
It does. That's true.
And sometimes you just need to get power on board.
Let me just verify real quick that Dillon did win that.
Yeah, I think it was...
You got that right, Dillon?
Yeah, that was... He really went wide on that side of the board.
Yeah, it's kind of what he did in both
Yeah.
games 2 and 3 there was... he was able to create several X power creatures.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's just a 2/2 or 3/3, and it was just enough. Damon didn't really have any defense.
Damon's deck is very much a go tall, and then Dillon's can go wider.
I mean,
but Dillon also gets to go tall.
Like I said before we even started, these decks are fundamentally pretty similar.
Yeah,
actually.
absolutely.
But I think you're right. Dillon's deck is just a lot better at going wide. Damon would have to draw multiple copies of Urza Saga and probably those Giver of Runes as well.
Yeah.
To be able to set up a real good go wide board state where he can Alpha Strike and take his opponent out. But that's going to do it for round number 5. We got one more round of Swiss coming before the top 8, so don't go anywhere.
Heck yeah.
We'll be right back with round number 6.
BRB.